Yes, student, good morning. Today I am starting a new content. This is chemical equation. Chemical equation. So very first, what is chemical equation? Chemical equation represent chemical reaction. Okay, that means what? That means the chemical species which participates in chemical reaction, okay, is expressed in a short form, okay, which completely represent all the reactants and the products with short form. This is known as chemical equation. Okay, we can represent chemical equation okay, in the two ways. First one, word equation. That is what? That is the representation of all the reactants and the products with the help of only word, that is name of the chemical reactants and the products. This is known as word equation. Okay, representation only using words of reactants and the products using, okay, only words. Now how it is? So let me explain. For example, a chemical reaction is when magnesium, okay, is heated, okay, or burn in the presence of oxygen. It forms what it forms. I told you in the last period, okay, we had performed activity when the magnesium ribbon is burnt, that is ignited, okay, using the candle. In the presence of oxygen, we had observed a dazzling white light or flame. It forms magnesium oxide, and heat is related, and heat is releases. Okay, so if we have to express this chemical reaction in the form of word equation, then how do we express it? We will express it like magnesium, okay, but we have not to write it's a symbol. We have to use its what? Word, magnesium, okay, plus oxygen. Okay, and then arrow. What arrow represent? It represent formation of product. So cyanophyte and magnesium oxide. Magnesium what? Oxide. This is called word equation. Called what? Word equation. Let me express one more example. This is example number 1. This is example number 2. When zinc metal okay, is dropped okay, in a vessel containing dilute sulfuric acid, okay, then hydrogen gas is releases okay, gas is releases and formation of zinc sulfate takes place. Zinc sulfate takes place. Okay, so how to write its word equation? So zinc metal, so we will write what? Zinc. Okay, now two reactants are there. Which two reactant? In a vessel containing sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid is another reactant. We will put sign of plus, and then we will write what? The sulfuric, the name word of what? Sulfuric acid, then arrow sign, okay, and what it forms? Again, two products are there. First one is zinc sulfate and one more is what? Hydrogen gas. So we will write what? Zinc sulfate in the form of word, okay, not formula. Zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. So this is the way to which we can express a chemical reaction. So student, what is chemical equation? Chemical equation, it is the representation of chemical reactions. Getting? And by how many ways we can express or represent a chemical reaction? By two. What? Word equation, okay, and equation by writing the formula, okay. But first we are checking what and analyzing what? Word equation. Okay, so what is word equation? Representation, okay, only using what? Words of reactants and the products, okay. Now for example, two examples are given there. You can also search some more examples. Yes, student. Now the next one, that is the second way. Okay, chemical equation. Using, okay, symbols and formulae. Student, for this one, that is use of symbols and chemical formulae, you have to clear your 9th class topic. That is, you have to learn atomic number of element from 1 to 30 elements. Then you have to learn the electron number, electronic configuration, valency, and then how to write chemical formulae of a compound. All these things I explained you in class 9th class. So you have to recheck all those rules to which the chemical formulae of a particular compound can be made properly. Because if you know the writing of chemical formulae, whenever you can write the chemical equation. Because what is a chemical equation? It is the representation of reactants and the products, isn't it? Now, in previous two examples, we have checked two type of reactions, that is two reactions. First one, magnesium, when burnt in the presence of oxygen, it converts into magnesium oxide with a dazzling white flame. So if we have to write by this way, so how to express this? You just write the symbol of reactants Mg. Now two reactants are there, therefore write the symbol of another, that is what? Oxygen. And then write what? Name, that is formula of magnesium oxide MgO. Isn't it? Here I am balancing, but I will show you how to balance this equation. 2Mg plus O2 gives MgO. This is first representation. The second equation which we have checked, when zinc metal pieces are dropped in the vessel containing dilute sulfuric acid, then it converts into zinc sulfate and the hydrogen gas is releases. Okay, so how to express it? We can express it zinc plus H2SO4, H2SO4, and it converts into zinc sulfate, that is formula of zinc sulfate plus H2. How this formula comes, magnesium oxide or zinc sulfate? It is from previous class study. How do you know the symbol of magnesium is Mg? Again, it is given in class 9th. The formula of sulfuric acid is H2SO4. Okay, like that. Therefore, you have to check your 9th class book again and the notes. Okay, so this is what using what? Symbols and chemical formulae to express a chemical equation. Isn't it? Now, the next one is rules for writing. Rules for writing a chemical equation. A chemical equation. Okay. First rule is reactants, okay, are written left hand side. Okay, reactants are written left hand side. Number 2, products, that is the substance which we get after the reaction. All products are written right hand side. Getting? Third one, between reactants and products. Okay. Arrow mark is used. Okay. Arrow mark is used. Fourth one, state of all species are written. Okay, using a small bracket. And are written, okay, in the right side of right side subscription, okay, of, okay, using in the right side subscription. Okay, fifth one. Okay, we can take its example. Okay, like here Mg, it is in solid state, so in the right side subscription form write solid plus oxygen, it is what, gas, so in right side write what, G, then what, arrow mark, that is two reactants, therefore a plus sign is placed there. Now only one product is there, so write what, MgO, and MgO is what, it is what, solid substance, so write here what, solid, plus the heat is releases, so write what, heat. Okay, and now burnt, therefore we have to use the sign of heat or burning. So this become a chemical equation. So state of all species are written using small bracket and are written in the right side subscription. That is called right side subscription, means below to the symbol, this is called subscription using what, small bracket. Okay, like sign conventions, okay, solid is written as what, as liquid is written as what, L, aqueous is written as what, AQ, and the gas is written as what, G. Okay. If precipitation takes place, okay, then use sign of down-headed arrow. Okay, and if gas releases, then use sign of upper-headed arrow. Okay, down-headed arrow for what, precipitate, and the upper-headed arrow is for what, the release of gas. So this is the way of writing a chemical equation using symbol and formulae, okay, along with the state of substance. Like here in this first equation, I can express like zinc, it is a solid, so you can write what, zinc solid. H2SO4, okay, it is in aqueous form, so you do write here what, aqueous, because it is the aqueous solution with water, therefore we will write what, aqueous. And the zinc sulfate, now the zinc sulfate, it is what, solid content, okay, in aqueous form, therefore you do write it what, aqueous. Okay, it is not precipitate, it present in the solution, therefore it is written as aqueous. And hydrogen is what, gas which is releases, therefore we will use upper headed arrow. So this is the complete way of expressing an equation for given chemical reaction. Like 2Mg, this is what, solid, O2 is what, gas, so write what, G. Now 2MgO, this is what, solid, so write here solid, plus you do write here what, the heat is releases, so sign of heat, that is writing with heat. Okay, so this is the way of expressing equation. Yes, student, now the next topic is balancing chemical equation. Okay, in the previous example, I had written before Mg it was 2 and before MgO it was again 2. So how this number comes? Because in the chemical reaction we didn't mention that is the 2 mole of magnesium reacted. Then how it comes? Actually student, it comes by balancing of chemical equation. So how to balance chemical equation? We can balance chemical equation using heat and trial method. Heat and trial method means what? Means very first you write chemical reaction, then you can write its word equation, then write equation using symbols and formulae, and then start balancing it. Like I am writing one of the chemical reaction. When iron element is reacted with steam. Okay, now what is steam? This is called hot water. Okay, hot water, or you can call it what? Vapors of water. Okay, hot water or vapors of hot water. Then it forms it forms iron oxide. Student, this iron oxide has a special name. This is called magnetite. Magnetite, one of the ore of iron, magnetite, and also releases hydrogen gas. So now if we have to write its word equation, okay, word equation, so the word equation is written as iron, okay, plus steam. Okay, now use the sign of arrow, and iron oxide in the form of product. Now again two products are there, so place plus sign and releases what? One more chemical species, what? Hydrogen. This is the word equation. What about its chemical equation using symbol and formulae? So in place of iron you write its symbol Fe plus steam, that is it is again the hot vapors of water, therefore you can simply write it what? H2O. Okay, and arrow mark. Now the iron oxide, I told you we have to write the magnetite ore, its formula is Fe3O4, okay, plus what? Hydrogen, isn't it? Now what to do? Again start writing each and every properties of equation. So Fe, it is in solid form, so write S. H2O, vapor form, therefore you do write here what? G, or you can write V also, vapor. Fe3O4, now this is what? Solid, and H2 is what? Gas, so you can write here what? Releasing of gas, H2. Getting? Now the main thing is what? How to balance it. So what? Very first I had written what? Only skeletal formula. What is the skeletal formula? Skeletal formula means writing the symbol and formulae without balancing it. Okay, writing of what? Symbol and formulae. This one is known as skeletal. What? Equation. This is skeletal equation. Now start balancing it. So how to balance? Okay, very first you make a block like here, and in this block, right, LHS species means left hand side species, and here what, right hand side species. Now how many species are there? So one is what, Fe, one is what, hydrogen, and one is what, oxygen. So we have to balance all these atoms. Okay, actually student, the balancing of chemical equation, it follows the laws of conservation of matter. Okay, balancing of equation follows law of conservation of what, matter, that is, okay, atoms, okay, of all species, in LHS must be equal to what, RHS. So this is the main principal thing. Now to balance chemical equation, we have to focus, and this is the more convenient, that very first in the given chemical equation you search those chemical species which is biggest, that is large number of atoms are present in that chemical species. So you do search, here only one, here two atoms are there, that is two different elements atoms are there, here again two different elements atoms are there, and here only one element is there. So in these two different elements atoms are there, so we can focus 1 and 2. But again remember this one, Fe3O4, here you can say large number of atoms are there, isn't it? So now you focus on this compound Fe3O4. Student, here you can check the number of oxygen atom. Okay, number of oxygen atom. How many oxygen atoms are there? In left hand side LHS, it is only 1, while in RHS, how many? 4. So what to do? Okay, you multiply the reactant side, okay, oxygen with 4, but oxygen is linked along with hydrogen, therefore you write it in bracket and multiply it by 4 is there, so multiply it by 4. Okay, so if we multiply left hand side by 4, now it becomes what, 4. So your oxygen is balanced, isn't it? Now the next one, to balance hydrogen, now the hydrogen is becomes how many? So LHS 4 to the 8, the total hydrogen becomes now 8, but in RHS the hydrogen is only 2. So what to do? Again you multiply hydrogen present in right hand side by what? 4. Okay, and you do write here what? 4. So that become 4H2, isn't it? Now calculate all the thing. How many Fe is there? There is what? 1. How many is there? There are 3. Here hydrogen is 8, and here hydrogen is again what? 8. Oxygen is 4 1 ja 4, and here oxygen again what? 4. So what need to balance? Ultimately we have to balance what? Only iron. In RHS 3 Fe is there, but in LHS 1 Fe is there. So what to do? Multiply now these by what? 3. By what? 3. Okay, and write it 3. So you can check Fe is balanced, H is balanced, and O is balanced. So in this way you can balance chemical equation. Yes, student, some questions from your NCERT in text. Okay, first one is, the chemical reaction I am saying, but I am writing chemical word equation. When hydrogen gas, okay, is reacted with chlorine gas, it forms hydrogen chloride. Okay, this is hydrogen chloride. Now, what is the question? We have to write its chemical equation, and then writing down chemical equation, we have to balance it. So, student, what will be the chemical equation? Write hydrogen, that is formula of hydrogen, but being it is gas, therefore it is in dimolecular form, that is diatomic form, H2. Getting? Plus chlorine, the symbol of chlorine is Cl, but being it is chlorine gas, therefore write its stable form Cl2. Actually, student, we have to write the formulae of species in their stable form. Hydrogen do not remains stable in its atomic form, therefore we have to write its what? Diatomic means molecular form. And now hydrogen chloride. So you know the symbol of hydrogen chloride is what? HCl, isn't it? Now again what? H2, it is what? Gas, so write G. Cl2 is gas, so again write what? G. And HCl is gas, so again write what? G. Okay, this is what their state. Okay, hydrogen, Cl2 and HCl. Now what to do? We have to balance it. So how to balance? The first skeletal equation is given, and now start balancing. So again I told you, you have to focus in bigger compound. So which one is bigger species there? HCl is bigger, and in HCl, how many atoms of hydrogen is there? 1. But in left hand side, how many hydrogen are there? 2. So what to do? This 1 should be multiplied by 2. Remember, this is written before, okay, the chemical formulae. So write here what? 2. After writing the hydrogen, that is multiplying by 2, again check it. Now the Cl, which was earlier 1, but when I multiplied it by 2, now it become also 2. So 2 into 1 is equal to 2 Cl, and here already Cl is 2. So the equation is balanced. Okay, let's check second example. This is what? When barium chloride, okay, reacts with aluminium sulfate, so this become reactant, that is 2 reactants are there. It forms barium sulfate plus aluminium chloride, So this is what? Word equation for given chemical reaction. Now student, to write its equation in the form of symbols and formulae, the formula of barium chloride is BaCl2, okay, plus the formula of aluminium sulfate is what? Al2SO4 thrice, and now the barium sulfate BaSO4 plus aluminium chloride AlCl3. Okay, now by observing the chemical reaction, what I told you, the barium sulfate or barium chloride aqueous solution when reacts with aluminium sulfate aqueous solution. So aqueous solution is there, therefore write here what? AQ stand for aqueous. Again this is what? AQ stand for aqueous. Forms white precipitate of barium sulfate, Therefore, what we have to use? The symbol of precipitate. Symbol of precipitate, that is down-headed arrow, plus AlC, and its state is what? Aqueous. So you do write precipitate means already it is given the sign, and AlCl3, this is what? Aqueous solution, so aqueous. Now what to do? Again hit and trial method. First write what? Skeletal equation. So this becomes skeletal equation. Okay. Now write the species present LHS and the species present in RHS. So here LHS species and here what? RHS species. How many species are there? First one is what? Barium. One more is what? Cl. One more is what? Al. And one more you deal SO4. So here three things are there, S and what? O. Okay. This species is in left hand side. How many numbers of barium is there? This is what? 1. Cl is how many? This is 2. Al is how many? 2. S is how many? So SO4 is given. So S is multiplied by this 3. This is what? 3. Okay. Oxygen. So 4 into 3 is equal to what? 12 oxygen. And the right hand side, the barium is how many? Again 1. Sulfur is how many? Sulfur is 1 only. Aluminum is how many? 1. Okay. Oxygen is how many? So here 4. Okay. And Cl is how many? So here how many? 3 Cl is there. That means what? Only barium is balanced. Rest of all the species are what? Unbalanced. So what to do? Again same thing. You find very first the biggest species which have largest number of atoms. So which one has largest number of atoms? So you can check here. Aluminum sulfate, it has the largest number of atoms. Okay, so start balancing from this side. So how many aluminum in LHS? 2 aluminum is there. While in product side, how many aluminum? Only 1. So what to do? This RHS side aluminum should be multiplied by what? 2. So multiply it by 2. Now it become what? 2. So write here what? 2Al. Okay. After doing this, now the Cl become how many? So you can check here. Cl become, earlier it was 3. But when it multiplied by 2 becomes 6. 3 into 2, 6. But here how many Cl is there? Only 2 Cl is there. So it should be multiplied by what? 3. So where is Cl? Here is a Cl. So multiply it by 3. So write it in bracket and now multiply it by 3. So that become 3BaCl2. So student, aluminum is balanced now and Cl is balanced now. So aluminum and Cl are balanced. Now remaining what? Remaining barium, sulfur and oxygen. So look at how many barium in left hand side? 3 bariums are there. Okay, after multiplying it by 3. But in product side, again this is what? Only 1. So multiply RHS side barium by 3. So 1 into 3 is equal to 3. So write here what? 3. Isn't it? Now again check all the species. Sulfur is 3 and in RHS again 3 into 1 sulfur become 3. Oxygen is 4 3 ja 12. Okay, in reactant side, but again product side 3 into 4 is equal to 12. So our reaction is, our equation is balanced. So what I am saying, here you have to focus the biggest species, okay, which have largest number of atoms. So you have to focus on the species which consist large number of atoms and large number of species, that is elements. So you start balancing from this side, okay.